it's not real. I have spent a lot of time and energy living in the future, but it can also be a terrifying place, dark, lonely, and painful. That's the thing about the future. It's not solid, it's not stable, and it can change in a heartbeat because it's so utterly dependent upon imagination and the suggestions of others. Living in the future is a fairy tale. It's a made-up story. The only way to find pleasure in the future is to see it for what it is, a realm of expansive possibilities, a place where things are possible. However, none of these things are possible if you build your house and set up permanent residence in the future. The future is a very bad place to live because it doesn't actually exist. But without it, time and movement stagnate. The future is like a long rope that pulls time forward, but it's not a place to come home to. The other place that I travel to much in my life was the past, right? I lived there much of my life, as much as I lived in the future. I thought it was a very real place, like the future, but it is a nebulous and misty fog, and it is continually shifting. And what seems vivid and clear one second may change shape or completely disappear later. The past was very important to me, though. It told me who I was. The past gave me my identity. Without it, I didn't think I could even exist. I would be nothing. I would have no self without a past, and I spent most of my life there. The oddest thing about these two places that I have traveled through extensively is that they have kept me from living in the best place of all. They have kept me constantly traveling instead of coming home. Home is a place I now call the present. It is now. I come home to the present and came home to the present this summer. I had no idea it actually existed. I believe I will live here the rest of my life. The present is real and full of life. I found the present in silence. The mind, I have discovered, is not really fond of the present. But it travels through the past and the future constantly if it's allowed to have its own way. The present lives in silence of the mind. To discover the present, you have to be very, very quiet and pay attention. You have to look, you have to see, you have to hear differently because the present is not nebulous, it is not foggy or elusive. The present is real and moving, and it calls me into being to participate. The present has breath and color, and it dances. It is always growing and always dying. The present is the intersection of time and eternity. It is much easier to see and know eternity when you come home to the present. Eternity hides from the past, but opens out generously from the present. This summer I came home, and now I know that I live in the present, and I find eternity hiding in plain sight. Of course, these words don't make sense because words have to divide up things. It is their only way of being, except when they are poetry or a parable. So perhaps I will write a poem, or perhaps I have already begun. Yay. Does anybody want to comment? I know, right? Jared says, I wish I had a summer like that. Seriously, right? So good. All right, then we'll invite the Baileys up to... Yeah, I would love to hear that. While they come up and I undo my
I think I've been
microphone.
given the gift of like writing and trying to explore more.
Great.
So I wrote down just to try to bring more balance with that and elaborate. I put, it's most wise to be happy in the now, always with hope and faith. It totally correlates with what you said. It's most wise to be happy in the now, always with hope and faith. Navigation with God for a great future without attempts to control the future, which is evading for the future, is only in God's hands. Only can one increase chances of a greater future through obedience to God's words and principles and allowing self to align with God, love and God's good purposes for you in your future, and believe only consistently in the now, consistently always. Just like always staying in the now.